Hey there, we've got another Age of Empires 4 replay. Uh, this will likely be the last game before the most recent patch that came out. We had an update from Relic. They patched a lot of the worst offenses in the game. Some spearman bracing issues for some of the civilizations. There's also been some nerfs to the professional scouts technology, and Mongol tower rushes are a little bit more difficult. So I'm excited to see what the changes will bring. Um, but for now, this replay is from the previous version, pre-patch. It's going to be me as Abbasid still up against my opponent Gez08319, playing as the French. It's a matchup that I enjoy. I'm pretty confident about playing against French opponents. Uh, I expect the typical build order from my opponent. School of Cavalry into Royal Knights, which will harass my villagers. And then they will follow it up with some archers, maybe a ram. Uh, my play is to get a second town center, try to condense my base into something that I can easily defend, and from there, try to hold off any of the French aggression, make to the castle age, put down a forward base, and then begin my siege. The map is Mongolian Heights. This is kind of a water hybrid map. So I'm tempted to gather some fish from the river. I'm hopeful that I can get at least a little bit out of the river, but to be honest, my French opponent can make hulks, those incredibly strong French warships that can just completely destroy my any sort of attempt that I'm making. The real thing to look for in this early game on these water hybrid maps is if your opponent is going for a fast Age 2 or if they are going to try and get a port down or a dock and then start to fish from the river. If they fish, then it'll take longer for them to reach Age 2, and you likely wouldn't see them mining this gold, and now it's been revealed. My opponent went for a pretty quick Age 2, not going for any sort of dock play on the waters, and my scouts did a pretty good job scouting out the river. Didn't see anything particularly suspicious, so we assume standard French play, gonna be bringing out some Royal Knights. I say to myself, okay, let's get down a barracks ASAP. Little low on wood, unfortunately. So at this point, I'd like to have a little bit more so that I can get down a barracks. Maybe should reassign some uh, more of my villagers to wood. Um, Fortunately, I've got the stone coming in. Okay, good. There's the barracks. So we're going to hopefully get out a few spearmen to fend off any Royal Knights. I position my scout. I'm trying to get an eye on some of his gathering spots. Would love to keep an eye on the gold. With this many villagers on gold, I can expect a lot of Royal Knights heading my way. They're a very gold intensive unit, so I wouldn't be surprised if with that many gold miners, he really puts some aggression out. Harasses my villagers a little bit with his scouts. Kind of cool. The French scouts have these hatchets. I like the design there. That's kind of cool. Usually the knights just have, or the scouts just have these long swords. So I like seeing the axes. I decided to just swap a villager, put this villager into the chopping where it's a little bit safer, swap a full health villager back in. I'm checking out his town center. He's got a lot of sheep. He managed to scout really well and walked away with a lot of sheep. Looks like I'm going to lose my scout there. That's unfortunate. But I put this scout up here on the high ground to kind of watch the gold collection. Looks like I've got my first spearmen out. They'll be able to defend against the scouts, and I'm sure those Royal Knights are coming very soon. I've gathered enough stone. I pull my villagers off there. If a Royal Knight were to come in, and see these villagers mining here, I would have had to pull them off anyway, so I'm happy to get away with my 300 stone collection. We've got our fresh foodstuffs, we're making cheap villagers, we're saving up enough wood to put down another town center. My thinking here is let's get a town center up forward near these berries. Here comes the first Royal Knights, and I lose my first villager. With this town center so far forward, I'm hoping that means if Royal Knights come forward and attack these berries, I can get at least some arrow shots from the town center to discourage it. The exposed positions on my base, and this is something to think about when you're up against the French, because they're going to be harassing me with those Royal Knights. His best targets are going to be these gold miners here. They are out of range of my town centers, and maybe in retrospect I would have put my town center over here, wedged it over here. Then it might have covered both the berries and the gold. Hard to say. At least I can protect all these villagers here pretty easily, but would have been nice to keep the gold protected. And at this point, I don't really need the gold. Every time these villagers return gold to my base is a win, because this should not be happening. If he were better with his units, this would be completely discouraged. He's coming in to try and harass, but nope, pushing him back out. That's interesting. This town center actually didn't take any shots at them. I'm thinking maybe only your original town center with more health. Oh yeah, you can even see it has an attack value, whereas this doesn't. Looks like this one won't shoot arrows automatically. Over here, I was able to build a dock. I snuck a villager out to put down a cheap dock, hoping to get a fishing ship out and start collecting fish. Problem is, his scout finds it almost immediately. Here's a smart move by him. Might as well take out what he can. If this is going to be exposed, might as well burn it down. He should really be sending a knight over here to burn down my dock. Me still scouting him. Looks like the same number of villagers just mining away. My opponent is building up a lot of resources. He could afford to maybe put down another production center. But for now, I'm sort of turtling, trying to be safe. Though I do send out these spearmen to try and discourage any kind of harassment from him. I doubt my spearmen could take on this force, but I am able to take out his archer and his villager. So he cleans up there, I clean up here. He sent a knight to begin attacking the dock. Looks like I'm... Ooh, I cancel the fishing ship, but then I go forward with it. Interesting. Maybe should have just let it finish. I send my spearman to kill this knight, although I know the moment I kill the knight, his units could easily just destroy my dock. I think with that in mind, knowing that his forces are probably going to take out this dock, I decide, well, if his forces are busy here, let's sneak out some gold. Wherever his forces are, or if I know where his forces are, then I know when I can safely be greedy and grab some resources that I wouldn't be able to otherwise. So you can see he wisely pulls the knights away for a charge attack and lets the archers battle my spearmen. My fishing boat finishes. It might return one shipment of food to the dock before it's burned down. It's a win for my opponent taking out this dock, but it's really inexpensive for me. I don't particularly mind losing it. Just a shame that I wasn't able to get more food out of it. Oh, I hope this fishing ship at least returns once. Okay, there. I got 40 food out of this dock and fishing boat. It's something. Looks like my opponent's really aggressively going for gold now. Me too. I figure this is my chance. I'll grab all the gold that I can. My opponent puts down a forward tower. I put down an outpost to try and defend myself. I'm supply blocked. Really need to get down a house. Okay, good. Get the golden tier upgrade. Here comes his forces, but I wisely see it and pull my villagers away. If I further engage, I'm going to lose here because he's just got more archers. Ooh, I kill a Royal Knight, but I'm losing my Spearmen and my archers. Really need to pull back here. Pulling back. Good. My Spearmen are holding on strong. Shoot down one of the Knights. That's another win. The nice part is I'm mining gold now, and a lot of it. I'm going to try to get as much gold out of this as I can. If he commits enough forces, he could probably wipe this area out. So I'm just going to try and hold it. Villagers are getting hurt. Really would like to get that textiles upgrade for my villagers. Make a camel archer to try and lower the damage of these knights. He's coming in with a force. I don't have that much, but it is causing me to pull villagers off of my resource gathering. Opponent continuing to get lots of gold. I decide on the back end here, because I've run out of sheep and these berries are just too dangerous to gather from, I decide to build a mill back here to hunt these deer. Kind of just praying that he doesn't decide to run through here. And that's some advice I'd give to a French opponent. If you have these really high armor, high mobility Royal Knights, there should not be a part of the enemy's base that you don't know about. You should just do run-throughs. Just run your knights through and past their base. Scout out as much of it as you can. All that's going to happen is the town center is going to take a few pot shots at your knights. And look at how many he's got. I mean, why not? That is so many Royal Knights. I pull these villagers away because at this point, that's such a huge force. Ooh, looks like he misrallies a knight there, but we're losing lots of units just from accidentally running them into each other. I wall up. Figure that's a good move. I can protect this area. I could put farms down back here, and there's plenty of stone. It's not the most strategic area to control, but might as well get it. He moves in with all of his forces. The knights are very strong. They're at least being affected by the camel unease, so they're not doing as much damage. Pull my villagers off of gold. It looks pretty bad for me, but every Royal Knight kill is a huge resource loss for my opponent. The arrows that are firing from my buildings are really not doing much of anything. But now that he's cleared out my forces, he decides to attack the tower. I don't think this was a good move by him. I think he should go after these villagers over here. I try to bait some of the knights away, but I just toss them into my town center, and now there's just a hail of arrows hitting his hitting his knights. If he burns this down, so what? All he's really accomplishing is one defensive structure going down. I even send villagers to repair because why not? I have so many villagers at this point, 49 of them. It finally goes down. He pulls his units back, I guess pleased with the damage done. And I greedily just send my people to keep mining. This whole time he had enough resources to advance to the next age, but he chose not to. In fact, you saw he had so many resources. He had like 1,700 food, maybe 1,200 gold. He easily could have thrown down his next landmark, but instead he spams it all into units, I would assume. And he's putting down a blacksmith. If I had noticed this blacksmith, and I mean, maybe I did during the game, I would have known he's committing. He's fully committing to this attack. There's no going back for him. He could have advanced, and he chose not to. I'm not really producing any other units besides these archers, spearmen. I could maybe get a camel archer out. That'd be a nice supplement. But I've got to wonder why he keeps throwing his units at me. We're just trading military units, but I'm producing villagers the whole time. Looking at income, I'm gathering more food, little bit of stone. We're about even in the wood department, and he's definitely getting more gold. So we're pretty even on resources. It's just he chose to all in at this point. Rather than go for the next age, he all ins and just makes a huge amount of units and a blacksmith, which tells me maybe siege engineering. He's going to try and make rams. So this is a full-on French push. You can see I'm desperate for food at this point. Looks like I'm starting to get farms down. I'm gathering from a single sheep over here. These villagers need to put down farms. My military production looks great. I have 2 barracks, 3 archery ranges, which is what I want when I go into the castle age. But man, I immediately, when I hit the castle age, put down a Mangonel because my opponent has been just making tons of archers, and I haven't really been able to deal with the archers just yet. I also see a battering ram being put down. I would hope with my next few resources I would put down a Springald. I think I wanted to, but I was actually supply blocked. So I decide, well, let's just engage now, because he can't deal with this Mangonel. Oh, that Mangonel shot was really good. I've kind of got my forces split here, but oh, every Mangonel shot. Look at that. It killed maybe 5 archers there. He sends the knights forward smartly to burn down the Mangonel, but I rush villagers over to start repairing the Mangonel. And this is an incredibly frustrating thing for my opponent. You can repair siege units incredibly quickly with villagers. The Mangonel is so effective against these archers. And my opponent surrenders after seeing that. I would be infuriated too if I saw all my royal knights commit to trying to destroy a Mangonel and then a few villagers just repairing it back to full health in a second. It was a good hold on my half. I think I'd like to start playing as the French to try and see how I do. Maybe not do a full aggression like he did, but really curious about this new patch. Maybe I'll play as the French and Abbasid moving forward. But thanks again for watching, and catch you next time.